Wolf's now on the other side of the valley, but he's moving. You're gonna have to hurry. Okay, there he is. 364. Just hope the crossing is over as far as he's going.
If you're sitting there thinking, BJ, you probably shouldn't have taken that shot, well, you're right. A Christmas tree sized spruce isn't a decent rest at a game animal at that distance. In my defence, yes, it was a desperate shot, but it was the result of what had actually been a very desperate week. The outfit involved reminded me after the hunt that I'd missed an animal the size of a sheet of plywood. I'd successfully, prior to that hunt, taken game animals that distance, a quarter of that size, a number of times back here in the hills of New Zealand. I opted to use the guide's rifle on that second hunt as bow hunting had just been too difficult. Fair to say I left here prepared with rifle and bow experience. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful to have been given the experience, but I came home pretty disillusioned, and the main reason I think being was that I hadn't fulfilled a dream to take a bull moose, which is now 25 years of age. It is indeed a privilege to be able to travel from here in New Zealand all the way up to Whitehorse in the Yukon and then down into northern British Columbia and fly into these lake locations. And yes, it is beautiful. The scenery in there is quite spectacular, and it is so contrasting to my own backyard, which is definitely a privilege in its own right. Yes, there were a few animal encounters. This bull moose on the first trip, I think was about 320 yards, was a bloody monster, and it's why you go to British Columbia. This is why I was there. And kudos to trophy hunting for making this stuff happen, because if it wasn't for trophy hunting, I don't think anyone would actually appreciate these lake locations. This young caribou bull, which swam right up to me and stood there looking at me from 40 yards distance, was a very cool experience. While both camps were great, we did spend a fair bit of time walking to lookouts and searched from the boats endlessly.
But nothing over here this morning. I think we'll stick here rather than buck the wind here.
Thanks to my second guide Ben, he worked bloody hard to try and make my dream come true, and was a good fella throughout. I picked up the cartridge from that woeful shot, I put it in my luggage and I brought it home here to New Zealand. It sits in my trophy room like a little symbol of doom, an anchor to all of the success, the apathy, the glory, and perhaps a little bit of ego. It's also a reminder of how sometimes things do not go to plan and sometimes dreams do not come true. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is sometimes hunting to find. Today it is my birthday, and I thought I'd celebrate that by coming out for a hunt. As you can see, it's a bit of a whiteout. I just set the camera up and did a time lapse to kill some time, Yesterday morning I looked at the weather app and it said it was going to rain for today, the 21st of June. So I tentatively went out and had a premature birthday shot on a deer, and at 107 yards I found this coal fallow buck, and this is what happened. I'm not looking for a trophy stag, and I'm not looking for a potential trophy stag. There's no point in me shooting one of those. I am looking for something that is a cull animal and just shouldn't be eating grass, and certainly shouldn't be given the opportunity to breed. So that is today's objective. That's him dead centre of the shot. .1,037 yards. So there's ducks down there on that pond, and there's also some cattle over here, and the deer are way down there on that bush forest edge. He's down. He's history. Pammy here's done the deed. All I did was just dial it in, get steady and squeeze the trigger. Wonderful to be able to take shots at that distance in confidence, and I'm thrilled with the result. So I still want to hunt moose. This is best described, I think, as being a boyhood dream. This is something that I've been thinking about for a very long time, and it's something that I've wanted to do. And as far as bucket list things go, there's the bucket, right, you see it? There's the list, and moose is right at the top. And at the moment there's no other animal that I would rather hunt. No other animal. There is a crazy obsession, and there's a dream, and I'm not very good at quitting, especially on dreams. I've always been fairly motivated to try and make things happen, and that's who I am. And I will be incredibly grateful when this happens, and it will happen. I suppose financially things are difficult to keep doing it. That's probably the biggest thing that is holding me back. Moose hunting isn't cheap, and I'm not a rich person. I'll work out a way. Maybe I'll have to sell a kidney. Who knows? The next adventure, the next episode in my moose hunting escapades actually took place in Alaska. I saw Derek's ad on Facebook and was intrigued. It was a reduced price hunt. He said high success rate, etc., etc. I dropped Derek a line. We began communicating, and Derek offered me a pretty good package. Derek told me that we'd be hunting in a moose-rich area. He said there were a lot of bulls there, a lot of moose. He said also that I could hunt other species. The area was good for bears and caribou. Derek also offered me a 16-day hunt. Now 16 days was almost a week longer than my 2 British Columbian hunts. This was really attractive because I'm well aware that when you can get into a place like Alaska, you can get 3 or 4 days of bad weather and be tent bound. And him giving me 16 days was probably the thing that sealed the deal for me. Another thing that Derek told me was that he was super confident that this was going to happen. He was so confident that he sent me this message prior to my hunt. Now, when I read this message, I was looking at places on the wall to hang my bull moose. I want you guys to have a read of this.
So Derek located a bull. I've got a little bit of video footage of him. He's across the valley.
Let's see what the wind does. Because I think it's going to die down.
The wind is awful. And we really have to be patient here. He's a pretty cool bull.
At this point, the bull was well out of range with a difficult wind direction to negotiate a stalk. Moments later, that bull bolted.
Goodbye, Moose. See you again sometime. This is the culprit too of what has scared our moose away. A big old grizzly bear.
We never caught up with that bear either. We did put in many hours of walking and glassing.
I'll be back. I'll do this again. I'm not a quitter. And if it takes me 5 trips to kill a moose, so be it.
I've got to say, I was sad to leave the Alaskan wild.
Just on the phone to Derek about my free hunt to Alaska.
Anyway, Derek, I wanted to talk to you about the hunt that you guaranteed. You know, for any reason I didn't get a bull with you, I could return just by paying for my flights and tags. Derek? Derek? Cut me off. Oh well, you'll just sit here and wait for him to call me back.
Derek!
Chapter 4 of Moose and Trying to Get One is going to take place in a few days. I am super excited to be heading to Alberta, Canada. I've booked a hunt with Ken Meagle's Canadian Outfitting Company and I can't wait. Ken has been posting pictures of late on Facebook of some of the fantastic bulls they've been getting in his area. He's an experienced guide and yeah, it's got me all riled up. My last 3 adventures to North America, the only souvenirs I've been able to bring home have been hats, t-shirts and fridge magnets. This time, please, please. There are some statistics that have arisen from the booking of this hunt. When I get home from Alberta, whether I get a bull or not, I'm gonna get a bull. I would have racked up over 100,000 miles in travel in the pursuit of one moose. Surely that is a world record. The other thing is that my moose hunt in Alberta will start on day 37. 36 days of learning how to hunt moose. At this present point in time, I'm prepared. I have been shooting lots with the rifle. The usual winter and spring culling regime has been going down here on the property of which I'm fortunate enough to be a part of. It is my job. controlling deer numbers and making sure that, I guess, if a moose does get in the road, then I'm not going to make a hash of it, such as scenes depicted at the start of this film. Coming up right now is a little segment of some of the culling that's been going on in the hills right behind me. So, day 1 in Alberta, which is day 37, we are at the first look. This is the first valley. 15 minutes of hunting and boom, there's a moose. Not just a moose, but there's a bull standing right there, 450 yards below us, completely oblivious to our presence. Now, first look with the binoculars revealed an animal that I'm not probably going to shoot on the last day either. This isn't a meat hunt. This is BJ trying to find a mature representative of the species, and this one just doesn't make the grade. So we let it walk. It was a very cool encounter. We would carry on driving, walking and glassing in some of the most magic country I've ever encountered.
So we've just crossed over an icy stream. It's terrifying. We sit up here. Hopefully something comes out onto this clearing. The guys have gone round the back and they're going to push a piece of bush that is a little bit of a sanctuary for them.
So we would put in another 3 days of solid moose hunting. A lot of walking, glassing, looking in some of the most spectacular moose country. Although we found some sign, we just could not find a bull. I was starting to think that I was going to go home with the only souvenir being another fridge magnet. It was now the afternoon of day 5. I had 1 day left to hunt. Ken's experience and a hunch would have us going to an area that he called the Haywire. During the walk-in, we found some fresh sign. I would set up with a mile-long view and a handy sniper position. Just an hour later, it all happened.
So, as Moose came out, he was 556 yards, and I gave him a bit of lead, and I think I hit him. I think I hit him pretty good. I saw him drop, but it's a long way down there. A long way. Right here, he's missing a bit of a paddle, but he's got incredible fronts, and it is going to go down as a short distance for me to beat. No dial up, just aimed about maybe 10 inches above his spine, and he stopped, he paused just down here. He ran 50 yards. I think I hit him in the heart. Rather be called lucky than good. That's for sure. 300 Win Mag did the job. What a bloody beauty.
What's interesting about this bull, and I've seen a few red stags like it back home, is the scars on his face, on his flank. Obviously he's missing a few points, but I think I just took care of the village bully, and he's obviously been fighting a lot this year. I can only imagine the force that it takes to snap a piece of antler like that. Incredible. What an animal. What an animal. Of all the photos we took of this bull, this one I like the most, mainly for the fact that there's a big cheesy grin there and a dream is realised. Thank you to all those that helped me achieve my goal. If there's anything I learned in the 41 days of moose hunting was perseverance and dreams do come true. And if there's any message that I could give to anybody, it's watch this film, it's dream big, and I hope it happens.